Hello, good morning, and welcome to this week's serving of Mickey Waffles, a Disney podcast where we cover everything from parks, movies, and merchandise. My name is Sinead.
My name's Kate. Hi guys, how's it going?
I'm good, Kate. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Another week, here we are.
It's been an exciting week, though. You got a haircut. We've
We
seen each
did.
other in person.
Yeah, we did.
It's been a wonderful time.
Loads of things happened.
We went to Wagamama's on Monday, and it was
Mhm.
pretty glorious, I have to say.
Yeah, I did like that we weren't near anybody. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was very quiet.
Their social distancing was very extreme. It was great.
Yeah. It also helped that there was nobody in Wagamama's. It wasn't like
Yeah.
they were outside or anything.
Yeah, it was good. And then I also went to a restaurant Sunday just gone for pasta. And that was also a very pleasant experience because there was nobody around us. I'm really enjoying this whole social distancing in restaurants thing.
Yeah.
I am like, it should always be this way.
Yeah. Although myself and Breffney went out for our very belated anniversary dinner on Saturday. And whilst they had I've been in this restaurant before, and whilst they've definitely taken some tables out, to my right, there was a table of like 10 or 12 people, most of which were meeting for the first time.
Right,
and I was like, oh, this is unnerving. I don't like this.
Yeah.
It was just an awful lot of people that all clearly weren't coming from the same household in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit concerning.
But just do what you do. Just out of interest, have you downloaded the COVID tracker app?
I have. I checked in yesterday and I checked in today.
I was saying to Sally, I was like, I'm so excited to get my first COVID match. I like, bing, bing, you've been with someone with COVID.
I sincerely hope that doesn't happen.
No, me too.
But interestingly, Craig from many of the various podcasts on the After Dark Podcast Network posted the link of the app into the After Dark Facebook group, which if you want to join, we'll leave that in the show notes. It's a good old group of people. But seemingly the app is also available in the UK. So loads of people in the UK are also downloading the Irish app. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, they're downloading the Irish app?
Yeah, because seemingly you can get that from the UK Apple Store and whatever the Google equivalent is. Google Play Store?
Because I think the description for the app is like COVID counter for Ireland and the UK. But like it's...
Oh, okay.
But like it's not. Like when you go into it, it's just Ireland.
Yeah, I don't know. Unless they phrased it that way so that the North could use it.
Ah, possible.
I would assume.
Because couldn't have that all Ireland approach.
No. But yeah, if you've not downloaded it, download it. It takes no more information from you than WhatsApp and Facebook and everything else you probably use, though.
Yeah. The only thing is you have to keep your Bluetooth on, which if you've got a pretty crappy phone can drain your battery. But what I've just been doing is I've been switching it off when I'm at home because I know who I'm with when I'm at home. And then I just switch my Bluetooth back on when I go outside.
I always have mine on now because I use my AirPods all the time, so mine and my Fitbit, so mine's always on.
Well, there you go.
But I had not realised that, so good point, Kate. Good call.
Just FYI. Just FYI in case anyone was like, oh, my Bluetooth. It's like, just switch it off when you're not outside because the only point of having the app is really if you're out and about.
Yeah, entirely fair. So anything else from the week?
I don't think so. Not that we're not already going to talk about.
Makes sense. How was the experience with getting your hair done? I'm curious.
Yeah, it was grand. I rocked up. They gave me a mask. They washed my hair. They cut my hair. And that was it.
Did they take your temperature? No. Okay, fair.
The only thing was my mask kept falling down when she was like, my hairdresser would get like, like the fine tooth comb to like make your hair like straight for when they're cutting it. But she kept catching my mask in it because obviously she was going down my ear. And I was like, okay, I kind of need that back, thanks. So my mask sort of kept falling off on one side. But like other than that, it was fine. The only other thing is that they're using disposable, my particular hairdresser is using disposable like coverings. What are they called?
Gowns.
Yeah, so like they don't have to wash them after every single use. They're just using disposable ones. But there's no like armholes in them or anything, and they're completely just, they basically are like see-through plastic bags. It's a
Yeah,
bit
it's like a bin
weird.
bag.
Yeah, it's like obviously nothing wrong, I'm not complaining, it's just a bit weird.
But yeah, I can't think of anything else. I think that's pretty much everything for life updates anyways.
Yeah, it's just because like now I'm back to work now, we're both working, but we still can't really go out and do a lot of the social things that we'd usually do. So normally when we'd have a podcast update, it's like, oh yeah, I went to this place and I did this thing and this happened this weekend. But now it's just, I don't have anything to talk about because all I do is go to work and come home
Yeah.
and maybe one social thing a week.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Exciting times. Again, you couldn't hear it last week, but Binks is being very needy. So if is purring in the background, there's a weird like noise in the background, it's the cat. And there's not a whole lot I can do about it. But again, you're blessed, so it's fine. So on that note, shall we get on to a bit of news?
So, first up, we've got some DLP updates. Just a quick little update in relation to the annual pass holder family privilege ticket things. The tickets themselves, they are only available to purchase from like the date of the 23rd. So the first day you can buy a ticket for is July 23rd. So from the 15th of July to the 23rd to the 22nd of July, you can't get one of those privilege tickets. It's only from 23rd onwards.
Yeah. And I suppose in relation to like DLP and AP tickets and stuff like that, I've realised that I've not mentioned it because in the like discussion that me and Kate had, but they did launch the platform of where you can book your reservations. As we mentioned previously, now if you're an annual pass holder, you have to book a reservation to get into the park for whatever day you want to go. So they, I think, released it. I think it went live last Thursday, and from what I could see online, I think it was a bit of a shit show.
What a surprise.
People were waiting for like 2.5 hours. And I saw one person that had it like on their phone, on their tablet, on their laptop. And they had two of them like in a queue and they were refreshing it on their phone. And they went into it on their phone and just immediately got straight in. So it didn't seem like there was an actual queue.
Right.
So to speak, it seemed like people were just being picked at random to go in and pick their days. Is this not the most DLP thing you've ever heard in your entire life?
Oh, yeah.
And they also had announced after that, I think that the 13th and 14th of next week is going to be an annual pass like preview day for the new measures. But I imagine there's only going to be a very small volume of people that will actually be around to be able to go to that because they announced that quite late. So my understanding is the 13th and 14th is booked up, as is the 15th for annual pass slots anyways. But yeah, again, haven't gone in and tried it myself because I'm not going to DLP anytime soon. And I wouldn't want to take a slot, completely forget about it, and then take somebody else's slot. But if you are planning on DLP, you can go in and try book your tickets.
I think it was kind of like what happened with the Walt Disney World one, where it was like absolutely crapped itself for the first couple of hours and then it was absolutely fine. I don't know what it is about Disney, but there's just something, I don't know who runs their websites, but they must run them really on the cheap because none of them ever seem to be able to handle like heavy loads of like people visiting the page. And it's all to do with server capacity, and it's 100% Disney not being bothered to spend the kind of money they need for specific servers to handle the loads of people. Because the exact same thing happens with Shop Disney every time there's some sort of release, and we've now seen it happen with Walt Disney World and also Disneyland Paris, and it's just like, it's just so annoying that they're so good at so many things. But when it comes to like making sure that they basically just have enough servers available to take capacity, that they're just like, nah.
Yeah, it's frustrating, and it just leads to, I suppose, kind of like a negative guest experience. But I don't think they actually care about that.
Wow. Well, Disneyland Paris,
I know, right? I know. So next piece of news, there's been more of a shake-up in the DLP like managerial structure. So Francesca Gianthin, I've definitely said her last name wrong, but
It's pretty
however,
close.
she was the Disneyland Paris Senior VP of Experience and Product Synergy and Integration. I'm kind of like, product synergy? Mrs. What have you been doing? But anyways, so she is leaving the company as part of a deep restructuring focused on efficiency in all departments, including marketing, communication, technology, operations, strategy and finance, and sourcing and HR. So yeah, she's gone bye-bye. This tweet is from DLP Report. I don't know if she is like being pushed out or it's a Catherine Pell dealio where it's been restructured in such a way that they no longer need her. I don't know. But either way, she's going. But if it's a way to kind of streamline product and all that kind of stuff, if it means that we're going to get more synchronized product across the resorts, then happy days.
Oh yes, same. Like if it means like not to say that this woman whose name we can't pronounce is like the reason for why all the merch in Disneyland Paris is so shit, but also
no.
But if it means that whatever restructuring they're kind of doing means that they're changing up their merchandising aspects, I guess, then maybe possibly we'll get good merch. On a merch just thing, do you know, because when we talk about how crap Disneyland Paris merch is, the only thing that comes into my mind now is that pumpkin Loungefly backpack that you couldn't get because it didn't come to DLP. And the other night I had a dream that I went into a shop and they had loads of Loungefly backpacks, but they were reduced to like €10. And I freaked out and I bought like 10 of them. And I was with Ed and Ed was like, you don't like those backpacks. They're too small. You can't carry anything. And I was like, it doesn't matter. They're €10.
In fairness, that is something you would do. That's why I have my Star Wars Loungefly bag, because you were like, €6? Sinead, love it.
I was like, what a weird dream for me to have, to be like, look at these Loungefly bags, they're €10. What a bargain. Oh, what a time.
You're around too many sale shoppers, Kate.
Yes.
Spending far too much time with sale shoppers.
Yes. Well, at least I'm not buying the sale. I'm just chucking it out there. Yeah, so that was just that little bit about restructuring. Then moving on to Disneyland Paris reopening, we have the DLP reopening times, if anyone's excited. So DLP reopens on July 15th until at least, oh no, these are the hours. I was like, it's opening from July until at least September. I was like, what? So no. From July 15th until at least September 30th, these will be the opening hours for DLP. So Disneyland Park will be open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Walt Disney Studios Park will be open from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then Extra Magic Time, which doesn't start on the 15th, it starts on the 16th, will be available from 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. I mean, you can't really argue with those times, to be honest.
I wonder, I assume Extra Magic Time isn't starting because nobody's staying in the hotel until the 15th.
Yeah, I assume it was like, well, they won't be there.
Who gonna be there? Yeah, that's fair.
But like, we've been to the parks when they've had, so these would be technically, I guess, kind of winter hours. Even that, I think they're a bit later. So like, we've done the parks during like winter hours and it's completely fine. Like,
to be honest, if you are going and if you're doing DLP the way we do DLP, which is just you keep going until you're starving and then you eat and then you just go some more. Like that's a 12-hour day, and a 12-hour park day, you will be sore.
And I suppose people got to think about the fact that like there's no characters to meet and greet, there's no shows to watch, there's no parades. So like they're really only open for their rides, and you don't need an entire day to do all the rides. Like the thing that really stretches out your day is, oh, I'm going to stand in this queue for 20 minutes to meet this character. And oh, I'm going to stand in this queue for half an hour and meet this character. And oh, we're going to wait half an hour for the parade. And the parade will take half an hour. Like all that sort of in-betweeny stuff. When you haven't got that to factor in, like winter hours are perfectly fine.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
In my opinion.
Absolutely. Right. Now, we've had 10,000 menus come out for the various different DLP restaurants.
Yeah, what a time.
So we'll go through. Really, so we don't have that much news. We'll go through all of them.
Yeah.
But the biggest change is, and if you've listened to a lot of our episodes before, you know we love the Lucky Nugget. Big fans of the Lucky Nugget and their little shows that they do. But it's opening up very differently on the 15th. So there'll be a brand new show featuring Minnie and Goofy. I think DLP report said there's also Mickey as well, and there's also going to be a comedian and a magician, which is very fun.
Ooh. I love French jokes.
You would hope that it would be both languages, but who knows? It is reopening on July 15th. It'll be €49 for adults and €39 for children.
Mm-hmm.
And you can book it by either calling the restaurant reservation line, and you can also book it through the French website and the Belgium website. I don't know.
Okay.
But the food options actually sound pretty damn tasty. So for starters, the entree is a salad with red beans, tomato, onions, avocado, peppers, coriander, and tortilla chips.
Nom.
It's like a vegetarian starter, Kate. What? And then, so you have a choice of two mains. So you can either get smoked chicken, spare ribs with barbecue sauce, and a grilled pork sausage, potatoes, grilled corn, and cornbread. All the corn. Or
as a non-vegetarian, that sounds delicious.
But they have a vegan option, not even just vegetarian. They have a bloody vegan option. You can get vegan chili with potatoes, grilled corn, and cornbread. I would fucking love this. This sounds bloody glorious.
Yeah, it's just, I'm so glad that the Lucky Nugget has still stayed as like somewhere that we would both happily go to.
Oh yeah,
because it would be really upset if they did a shake up and we're like, nah, man. But yeah, this is very exciting.
It sounds really good. And then dessert, it's vanilla flavored ice cream, which I assume will still be that kind of weird ice cream that the Lucky Nugget has. It's kind of yogurty and has a really weird mouthfeel.
Really weird soft serve that comes from yeah.
It's got a nut brownie and then chocolate hazelnut sauce. Now, it doesn't specifically say if the chocolatey elements are... I'm assuming this dessert ain't vegan because it doesn't say it's vegan, but it's definitely vegetarian. So I can eat this whole menu and it sounds delicious, and I really hope they keep this menu up because I want to experience this because it sounds great.
Yeah, and the fact that they've changed the characters to Mickey, Minnie and Goofy rather than the puppeteers. Now, the puppeteers are great, but especially in the current climate where people can't meet and greet characters, adding in another way that kids can see the characters, because like when you're eating your dinner, unless it's like a character meal where they're walking around, you wouldn't be expected to be allowed to go on stage anyway.
Yeah. So
the fact that you're just chucking the characters up there while people are eating, that's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. And the good thing about the Lucky Nugget is you can also get booze.
Yeah, booze. My only question about this thing is that, does this mean the Lucky Nugget no longer does free refills? Because I think your menu only entitles you to one drink.
Oh yeah, because it has cold drinks separate.
Yeah,
because underneath it has cold drinks.
So like underneath the menu diamond bit, it says like, I can't read it, but it's like what's on something 33 cl, cold drink 33 cl or minimal water 50 cl. So like I think you get one drink with your meal, and then if you want more, you have to pay.
Maybe.
Interessante.
Either way, it sounds very delicious, and I hope to be able to try it.
Also, FYI, the children's menu is cheeseburger and potatoes. Not even cheeseburger and fries. Cheeseburger and potatoes.
And they don't get the brownie. They just get the vanilla flavoured ice cream and chocolate sauce.
Actually, is pomme de terre fries and they've just written potatoes?
I don't know.
Oh no, because pomme frites is...
Yeah, fries.
Oh no, yeah, no. So my French completely failed me there. Pomme de terre means apple from the ground. So yeah, no, literally just potatoes.
Apple from the ground? Is that what potato is in French?
Yeah, so pomme is apple, and pomme de terre means apple from the ground, or apple from the earth.
That is so ridiculous. But anyways.
Anywho, so yep, sorry, just want to add a note there. Thought it was quite funny. You get burger and potatoes. It's like when
So
worlds
bizarre.
collide, America and Ireland.
Hey.
France. Then we've got some more menus. One particular note is the menu Black Widow, which I assume is coming for the Marvel-ish season thing. So you have a spy burger.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's like all the other burgers. So it's a beef burger, cheddar cheese, lettuce, pickles, tomato, crispy onions, tomato, and paprika sauce.
Nice.
Love paprika. With fries and a drink. And then there's just everything else you can get. Just your regular beef burger, chicken burger, fish burger.
Do you know what burger's missing?
Oh, there's no veggie burger.
There's nothing vegetarian. Not a fucking thing.
There is a fish burger.
Also, they've taken the desserts away.
Oh,
you don't get a dessert with your meal.
But they're the same price. $15.99. Well, no, because when you got a dessert, wasn't it like $18.99 or something?
Yeah, but normally you'd at least get the option for the feckin' yogurt.
Yeah, or an ice cream or something.
Yeah.
Ooh, Disney saucy. And then there's also this like coffee thing. So I think it's you get a coffee and a muffin for $6.59.
Yeah, the little mini muffins, the chocolate,
Yeah.
and then they're like, what's that cake? Madeira cake, is that what it's called? The like vaguely orangey.
So you can get a double Mickey cake, or a brownie, or a Magnum mini.
Oh, okay.
But then there's also a Widow's chocolate cake for Black Widow, and it's a milk chocolate hazelnut brownie with dark chocolate mousse and chocolate sauce, and it's got a design on the front of it which is like the poster for the Black Widow movie. It's like a silhouette of Black Widow.
There you go.
And then there's just a bunch of ice creams and all that crap.
Nice. Then in Hakuna Matata, they have a festival. It's not Festival of Lion King. What's it called? Lion King Jungle Festival. They have a special menu for that, and it doesn't actually. So it's something called the Lion's Favorite Feast, which it doesn't actually tell you what it is, but it looks like various different meats with salady things in a flatbread, but it doesn't actually explain to you what it is.
It looks like some sort of kebab, but slightly healthier.
Yeah. And you can get that with either French fries or an assortment of vegetables.
Delightful.
And then you can either get a mango and grated coconut cake or a Dole fruit bowl with tropical gold pineapple and a drink. And that is $16.99. Or they have
Tropico thing. That's new.
What Tropico? Oh yeah.
The drink with the little parrot on it. Sorry, continue.
And then they have kind of assortment of various different menus. I'm just going to call it vegetarian things because that's what I do. They have a vegan salad, which is a Hakuna salad, which is lettuce, pineapple, beans, cucumber, sweet corn, tomato, peppers, red onions, and grilled peanuts. I think that says.
I'm sorry. Is that not disgusting?
Yeah, no, that sounds pretty grim. I won't lie, because I hate pineapple. But
like they've specifically put pineapple in there because it's obviously this whole thing's obviously to do with Dole. Yeah. And like why? And also that's the only vegan thing.
Yeah, that's the only thing. I mean, it's better. The only thing I used to be able to eat Hakuna Matata was rice. But it's okay because they're still telling me I can still have the white rice. I seemingly can't have the chips, but I can still have the white rice.
And the assortment of vegetables.
What more could I ever want?
Yeah,
what more could I ever want?
Then like your other options, it's so annoying because you've got 4 menu options there, and your options are beef, tomato, and beef like meatballs. Like in Hakuna Matata, Hakuna chicken strips, Yassa chicken and vegetables. I mean, okay, that makes sense. And then you've obviously got that one we just mentioned, the Lion's Favorite Feast. So like why they don't just have the Yassa chicken and vegetables and their speciality one, and then 2 like vegan vegetarian options that I don't know, or even if they had options where like, hey, we're gonna do like a chili, but do you want a vegan chili instead? Yeah, no problems. Like it's not that hard.
Yeah, like even if they just put that vegan chili everywhere, like that, I mean, I wouldn't have an issue with that.
Yeah.
But and then I'll just cover off. There's also some Roarsome Delights, which I have a feeling will probably just be dotted around in the various little snack carts. So you can get a drink and a muffin for $6.59, and it's basically just a muffin that has pineapple and leaf sprinkles on it, and you can get that in vanilla flavor or double chocolate, and then you can also get either a triple chocolate cookie or a white chocolate raspberry cookie, and they all have the same sprinkles. Hashtag theming.
Just knowing that like those cookies are $2.79 and you can get 5 cookies from Marks and Spencer's for €3, and there's no way they're better than the Marks and Spencer's cookies. So like, why bother? Like, the only thing that intrigues me is white chocolate raspberry. I'm like, yeah, but like, you could make your own white chocolate raspberry cookies. Like, this is just, and you know it's going to be crap.
Would you have pineapple shaped sprinkles, Kate?
I mean, to be honest, that really does make it. That's kind of what you're paying for, isn't it?
1,000%.
Oh dear. And then one of the second last updates we have is from Plaza Gardens, which has a change now due to COVID-19 restrictions. It is no longer a buffet style. It is an all-you-can-eat menu, which is table served. For an adult, it's $35.99. Why is the translation from French to English always so weird? So it has adult $35.99. Open refreshing drink or mineral water. Like, open? Why?
No lids for you.
Or like, that's what I mean. Or like, opposed to like a closed refreshing drink. Like, what?
It might mean refills, but they just can't use the term refills. I don't fucking know.
Oh yeah. And then for a child, it's $18.99. But there's more specificity in what they can have. They can have water, Minute Maid orange, or apple, or milk. So kids aren't allowed.
No fizzies.
No fizzies. No. And then there's all the beers and all that sort of stuff. And then there's a whole rake of stuff. Let's see if there's anything. Vegan. There's vegan vegetable risotto.
There is.
There's also jungle, which is beef stew with rice and herbs. There's shrimp. There's roast chicken. Oh, there's just a rotisserie, which is chicken, pork, veal, potatoes. Then there's charcuteries. Oh, rabbit terrine. Wow, how French.
Oh.
There's smoked salmon, fish terrine, mackerel. Then in the salads, there's bulgur quinoa, coleslaw, lentils with smoked salmon. Like, why have you got to put salmon with the lentils? Just leave the lentils be. And then pasta with chorizo and sheep's cheese. Cheese.
Horrific. Oh, grim.
And then for desserts, there's cheese, carrot cake, apricot tart, Mickey tarts, and then a banana snake mango treat.
What's a banana snake?
I don't know.
I'm really intrigued to find out what a banana snake is.
Do you think it's like an actual thing, or do you think it's just
it's probably just something that DLP are making? I don't know.
Let's just quickly Google banana snake and see if anything comes up.
Okay, be wary about what you Google when you put that in.
See, there is a snake called a banana snake.
Oh, okay.
But I doubt they're serving that.
I hope that's not what they're giving you for dessert. It's probably just some like banana mousse thing. I don't know. Mousse? I don't know.
Yeah, I would assume so. So yeah, that's everything for Plaza Gardens. It's interesting thinking how the like buffet style is changing to all you can eat table served. Because now I don't know if I'd go to one, because I feel weird asking
Awkward.
for like, being like, oh, can I have a full plate? Let's say I'm just like, oh, can I have a full plate of just smoked salmon and blue cheese, please? Like, not that that's weird. Something I do, but like, if you're at a buffet, you might find something and be like, oh yeah, I'll just have a whack load of that. Like, it's like strange. Yeah, do you know what I mean? I would feel very awkward, I think. I don't think I'd enjoy it.
Yeah, I feel you. And then the final menu that we have is from Cafe Mickey, which Cafe Mickey used to be a buffet, wasn't it?
I went to Cafe Mickey yonks ago, and I don't remember it being buffet.
Oh, okay. Well, they've changed it around anyways, so it's much more pricey than I would have anticipated. There's also only one vegetarian option. Starters start from around €12 and go up to €16. Main courses, the cheapest is the vegetarian, which is a margherita pizza, at €20, and they go up to €30 for an Italian burger. I don't know why that burger is €30, but here we are. Yeah.
Why is it Italian?
It's some form of fancy beef. Of fancy beef. Whole grain bread, gorgonzola, pancetta, tomato, rocket salad, served with salad and fries. Silly to choose. And then their dessert, the cheapest dessert they have is €11, and it's for 3 scoops of ice cream or sorbet.
Yeah, Cafe Mickey has never really been cheap, to be honest. It's always been kind of a rip-off.
They also have a dessert that is literally just whipped cheese with strawberries. And I'm assuming they mean like a mascarpone cheese or something. Because it just, yeah. They do also
Or
have set
rhubarba,
menus.
which is just whipped cream.
Yeah. They do also have a set menu, which is €40, which you get a starter, main course, and dessert. I would not be able to avail of this because there is nothing vegetarian on it. And then you can get, there's two options for a kids meal. There's €20 where you get a starter, main, and dessert. Or there's a $36.99 one, which I don't know why that one is more expensive. I guess you just have different choices. I don't know. Seems a bit
Yeah,
daft.
so the starters are like, for a child, organic semolina mixture with crunchy vegetables, because, children eat that.
Or,
With
basil minestrone.
and fish of the day, and then creamy fromage blanc dessert, which is the strawberries and fruits. Like, what?
It's just daft.
Oh, DLP really boggle my mind sometimes. I'm also very annoyed that they've rejigged so many of these menus, and there's still either only one vegetarian option or nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
seriously, like, they had their opportunities with those like little food stalls that they did, and like during the seasons when they had all the vegetarian and vegan stuff and like the little carts, the feedback was great. Everyone was like, and now they've just fucked it.
But like, the thing I don't understand is, even if they took that vegan chili, and even if they just made that en masse, and they put that vegan chili everywhere, or even if they just did like they do in Bella Notte, they're like, it's just pasta with a tomato sauce. Even if they just put that everywhere, that would be fine. But it's the fact that so many of these menus don't have any form of vegetarian option, like nothing, let alone vegan.
But also, even those veggie burgers, like those veggie burgers are definitely just frozen and then cooked. Like, you're telling me you can't just offer a veggie burger? Like, that's probably the simplest vegetarian thing you could ever do, bar like vegetables. Like, it really baffles me, to be honest. I just don't get it.
It's kind of, it's very much confirming the fear that I had, that I think I mentioned either last week or the week before, as to why I'm cancelling my September trip, because I'm worried I would not be able to eat anywhere. Because Fuente del Oro is not reopening, and none of these menus are giving me any sense of comfort that I would be able to eat anything.
You just have to eat vegan chili in that one place every single day.
Just gonna have to go to Lucky Nugget day in, day out.
Yeah. And that would rack up quite a bill. Like, that's 50 quid. Like,
50 quid for one meal.
Yeah, you'd want to be full afterwards.
Yeah.
What can anywhere else?
There are all the various menu changes and the lack of diversity in them.
Then the last little bit of DLP news is railroad news. Woo! Remember the last time we talked about the railroad? So earlier on in the week, there was a little update from DLP report that said the Disneyland Railroad is scheduled to finally return on August 1st, 2020, according to the recently updated official calendar. But then we got a more updated update from DLP report, because who else would we get information from, that said the Disneyland Railroad will be open for Disneyland Paris reopening on July 15th and during preview days. Oh,
next week.
God.
What?
Does that mean that over this COVID period, there's been someone in there putting the tracks back down? Because wow. Just wow.
It's just, I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited. Like, finally the railroad is back.
I'm gonna lose my mind if on the 15th people are there and cast members are like, this isn't open.
Yeah, because you know it would happen.
Man.
You absolutely know it would happen.
Oh, DLP. You make me laugh. So yeah, that's everything for DLP updates and news.
Yeah, so we'll talk about this likely a bit more next week once everything's kind of fully reopened. But there's been some cast member / media previews of Walt Disney World starting to reopen. Did anybody actually think that they would still be reopening, considering the sheer volume of cases that Florida is still having? No, you would hope not, but here we are. So Disney Food Blog is one of the places that I've seen kind of updates from, but I've also just seen them scattered across the internet in general. And the main things that I've taken out of, Kate, there might be other things that you've taken out of, is one, considering it's cast member and media previews, nobody seems to be social distancing.
Nope.
However, people do seem to be wearing masks, so that's positive.
Yeah.
There was a massively long queue to get into the Brer Patch, which is the store attached to Splash Mountain, which I have some thoughts around, and I'll come back to that. They're not doing the stretching room in the Haunted Mansion, which I get, but it makes my soul a little bit sad. And what was the other thing that I saw? Oh, so when you go through bag check, they give you a little plastic baggie that you have to take all of your electronics, anything that's metal or anything like that, and you put it into this little plastic baggie that goes through a separate metal detector, and then you and your bag walk through a big metal detector. And if you still beep, you have to empty all your belongings out into a tray so that they can inspect your stuff without having to touch your stuff. Why any of this is meant to be easier, I have no idea. But they were the main ridiculous things that I took from it. Also, sorry, one last thing. Merida was riding about on Angus, and it was real cute. And they had a pooper scooper behind him.
Of course he did.
There was literally a cast member in full, like, Fantasyland, like, regalia. And literally had a like dickied up wheelbarrow and was just following around this horse to pick up shit.
Oh,
I can imagine that being your job for the day.
I imagine they work in the stables and that it's not like
absolutely. Absolutely, but it just tickled me.
Yeah, pretty much seen a lot of the same stuff. We follow a lot of American we follow a lot of American accounts on Instagram, just on the podcast page, and I know that Americans have real problems with the mask issue and it's violating their human rights and all this sort of jazz, but I really thought when it came to Disney people would stop questioning it, as in like during like cast member previews and friends and family previews, which are happening at the moment, like specifically. I just thought, people would just wear their masks and these issues wouldn't crop up until regular guests, if you will, were coming into the park. Yeah. But from what I've seen on people's social medias, is that people were still getting berated for having to wear their mask to go into the parks for the Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom previews, and that people were taking their masks off to take pictures, and cast members are like, sorry, can you put your mask back on? And they were like, no, I want to take a picture. And the cast member was like, I'm sorry, but you have to put your mask back on. Like, you just can't take it off. Like, that's not how it works. Then people asking cast members, oh, if I buy a Starbucks and walk around with my Starbucks all day, can I keep my mask off? And they're like, no, if you have a drink, you can take your mask off to take your drink and then put your mask back on if you're going to continue walking around with your drink. But if you're going to have a coffee in your hand, that doesn't give you unlimited access to just remove your mask. If you need to remove your mask to sit and drink, you can sit on a designated table or you can go to a rest area. And they're like, that's absolutely ridiculous. How do you expect me to do that? And it's just like, what? And then there's Disney people on Instagram who are like, please don't post pictures of yourself with your mask off in the park. It will just encourage people to do the same.
Yeah.
Especially as majority of the people currently in the park are cast members, because obviously they could bring their friends and family as well. But like, people are aware that right now it's just cast members. And if people see cast members posting pictures of themselves on Instagram not wearing masks, then the guests who are already like, I don't want to wear a mask, are going to be like, well, when your cast members were here, they didn't have to wear masks, so why should I have to wear a mask? And I just do what you're goddamn told. Like, if you want to enter private
grow
property,
up and wear a mask.
Just do it. Like, okay, Florida's really hot, so go to a rest station if you need to. Like, or if you can't wear one, then don't go. Like, that's just the end of the situation. Stop berating people for wearing masks. Stop sending people hateful messages on Instagram because they are wearing masks. And if a cast member tells you to put your mask back on, put your mask back on. Like, just do it. I'm already sick of it, and it's not even started yet.
I don't know what is wrong with people.
Yeah. Anywho, some nice little things that came from that anyway is how Walt Disney World have dealt with the whole social distancing and the coronavirus stuff. So they've social distancing markers everywhere. Like, everywhere. If there's somewhere where you have to maybe possibly queue, there is a marker there for it. they have put plexiglass screens in between the bollards in queues so that you're not breathing on the people that are on the other queue when you have like switchbacks and that sort of stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, that's actually pretty damn good. Well done, Disney. Then so that was the pictures we saw for that were specifically from Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, but I assume that any indoor switchback queue also has that. Then there was people saying for Splash Mountain that the ride was being sanitized basically nearly after every single use, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and it was only one family per log.
Yeah, and then also someone was on the monorail and they said that they're only allowing 2 parties per like section of monorail.
Okay.
And I'm like, wow, okay. So like they are taking it pretty seriously, but this just means that there's going to be heavy delays on absolutely everything when it's access to general public again. And all I have to say is I feel so much empathy for the cast members who have to work right now, because I know most of them are probably absolutely delighted to be able to come back to work, even with the 10,000 plus cases that are coming out of Orlando and Florida every single day. Like, I'm sure a lot of them are still pretty happy. I showed Sinead earlier on the week, Disney released a video on their Instagram and their socials of cast members returning to work. And I just said to Sinead, I was like, it's pure Disney propaganda, but I was still like, oh, Disney.
Yeah. It was intense. It was, I'm so happy and I feel so safe going back to work.
Yeah.
It was
Like,
intense.
I'm finally back home. And it's like, no offense, but Disney's only been closed for like 2 months.
Yeah, like,
and it was all their supervisors being like, hey, Rose, nice to see you. And sup, Jenny, glad to see you're back. I.e., like, we use names here at Disney. We know you all.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Disney, sometimes you just give me the shivers. But yeah, so it's like what Disney have implemented, I think is great. It's just guest reaction that they'll probably have issues with. But they had the character cavalcades, they had the characters on the little barges. Chip and Dale had their own little boat they were tooting around on.
Cute.
As Sinead said, Merida was on Angus, and then Gaston was also on, who I assume was supposed to be Philippe or his own horse. He was trotting around Magic Kingdom as well.
Yeah.
They had the Winnie the Pooh gang on one of the little trolley cars. Like, they're really doing all they can. So you can't really blame them. It really is just up to the guests to just cop on and do what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I wanted to kind of, I suppose, mention. So I mentioned about the ridiculous queues to get into the Brer Patch. I find it so bizarre that Disney have like come out and said, yes, Splash Mountain is problematic. Splash Mountain is based off a problematic movie. But here you are, you're just going to have it for another little while. And it's something that I've seen so many different like podcasts and stuff talk about. It's been like, are they going to reopen Splash Mountain now that they've, I suppose, kind of admitted how problematic it is? Like, are they really going to do this? And it seems like they are. And they're just letting everybody buy up all the Splash Mountain merch so they can go back and sell it on eBay.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting, like, because I also feel like there would have been backlash if they hadn't opened it. Not that I agree with it, just that they announced while the park was closed that they were going to retheme, maybe in like a year or 2 years time, because like there's absolutely no date for it whatsoever. And so if they'd announced while the park was closed that they were going to retheme it, i.e. it was never going to open again, I imagine guests would have gone crazy to been like, you can't close a ride forever when I haven't been able to go on it for the last time.
Yeah.
So the only thing that comes to mind is those people that we've spoken about previously who grew up with Splash Mountain, and from their only view of Splash Mountain is that was like the first ride I went on when I was 6.
Yeah.
Or I remember going on that on my only trip to Walt Disney World with my family, or like those kind of people that like, okay, maybe they want to ride it one last time. But yes, I do completely understand where everyone's coming from with Disney being like, hey, we no longer agree with the theming behind this ride, but here you go. Yeah, I do get it.
It just seems a little bananas.
I also I find it interesting that cast members on Splash Mountain wear visors and not masks because obviously they get wet. So they're allowed to
Oh
wear
yeah,
their
fair.
visors. Yeah. I also think cast members might have a choice because there was a cast member at the front of Peter Pan's flight wearing a visor, not a mask.
Were they wearing glasses?
I don't know. The picture was too far away.
Oh, okay.
I think if I. Sorry, go on.
Because I know my mom initially, because she wears glasses, when she was wearing a mask, it was completely fogging them up. However, the visor that she ended up with was so horrifically uncomfortable that she's kind of like, I can deal with the fog. That's fine.
Has she put Kleenex underneath the top of her mask? Underneath it?
I don't know.
If you put Kleenex tissues underneath the top of your mask and then put your glasses over your mask, when you breathe, the condensation goes into the tissue, and so then it doesn't go in up into your glasses.
Oh, tips with KB.
FYI for any of you 4 eyes out there. I was just gonna say, if I was working in Florida heat and I had the option, I think I'd ask to wear a visor as well.
Yeah.
Just from a heat perspective, because you'd get a lot more airflow into your entire face. And just from wearing a mask and work myself, like, it gets really sweaty really quick when I'm like running around doing stuff. So I can't imagine what it's like standing and having to talk to a lot of people all day as a cast member kind of thing. Like, as a guest, you're just walking around. As a cast member, you have to talk to so many people all day, and I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
can't even imagine it. Oh, there it is.
So yeah, that's everything from Florida as of now. We'll have a bit more of a chat about it next week, obviously, once things start to reopen, and hopefully we'll have a special guest come to join us to have a chat about that as well.
We'll have to record on Tuesday, so yes. So moving on from park news, then we just have a tiny bit of Shop Disney or Disney Store news. So ages ago, it feels like, Shop Disney released that they were going to be making face masks in Disney styles, but only in America. And obviously European Disney fans went nuts, and they were like, for God's sake, just sell them in Europe. Like, why you gotta be like that? And it was either today or yesterday. I think it was today. Shop Disney UK and Shop Disney F4, and it must be Dior as well, all said that they were putting pre-orders up for packs of 4 for £20. Well, on Shop Disney UK, so you can get 4 masks for £20, and they come in small, medium, large, and extra large. And there's something else I was going to say. Oh yeah, they're pre-ordered, but the shipping date isn't until the 31st of August.
Yeah.
So
like, that's miles away.
Literally 2 months away, basically.
Obscene.
So yeah, I know that there's been a lot of comments from people being like, oh, my friend got some in America and they said the sizing is really off and they're too small and they hurt their face and they're too tight. So when you go onto the website, it explicitly says new European sizing. So I guess they've changed it. So on the Disney Store page, on Shop Disney, so you've got your options of small, medium, large, XL. And then it has a size chart, which helps advise you which size to pick. And knowing Shop Disney, I was like, oh, if I go into the size chart, it's going to be like a regular one. But it's not. It's for the masks. So there's measurement A, which is one part of your face, and measurement B, which is another part of your face. And depending on how big that part of your face is, they tell you which size to go for. So then you go to this handy little button here that says how to measure. So your measurement A is measuring from the bridge of the nose to the bottom of the chin. That's measurement A. Yeah, that's the one.
We're doing this at the same time, FYI, just for visuals.
And then measurement B is from the front of your ear to the tip of your nose. And then when you have those two measurements in centimeters, that gives you what size mask you need to order from Shop Disney.
And there you have it.
So the biggest measurement they have is 17 to 19 centimeters. Measurement B, which one's that? So this one. So from your ear to your nose, if you're 19 centimeters wide, you should get extra large.
Oh, I kind of wish I'd measured my face.
Measured your face, yeah. I find it quite interesting. I assume small fits children, and I would imagine most adults would probably need large, because a lot of people on Instagram were like, I bought medium as like a thin lady and it was too tight on my face. And I'm like, well, it's not really got anything to do with your weight, love. your face could still be long.
Oh, for
Like,
fuck's sake.
I'm like, it has absolutely zero to do with your weight,
Honestly.
with how long your chin is, you dumbass. Anywho, so yeah, they've absolutely tons of designs up there.
Comical.
They have a Star Wars pack. There's like a classic Mickey Mouse pack. There's the actual face ones, so it's like Winnie the Pooh's face, Stitch's face, Mickey Mouse's face. They look weird when they're on people though. Then there's also a Marvel pack, a Pixar pack, a Princess pack, and that's it. But yeah, to be honest, I mean, the only bad thing about them, I'm kind of like, is that they don't get dispatched until the 31st of August. But just out of interest, the masks, so you know when you go on to Shop Disney and it's like, so many people have looked at this in the past 24 hours. I was looking at the Star Wars ones, and 25,000 people have looked at those in the past 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
25,000. That's crazy. That's just a product.
I just clicked into the face ones, and it's saying that 18,921 people have viewed them in the last 24 hours. So maybe the Star Wars ones are the faves.
Oh, wow. Isn't that crazy?
Madness.
So yeah,
madness.
That's just that about the old face mask-roonies.
Yeah. And then just to chat about some other Disney merch. So the sketchbook ornaments for 2020, we've got to kind of see the initial few that they've announced. And honestly, they're real pretty.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I texted Ed and was like, hey, I know we don't want to go into this. Like, really, I don't want to go into the Disney store in town because it feels like it's going to be too tight. But I'm also like, if I'm going to buy these decorations, I'm not ordering them online.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Because
like,
you want to make sure that it's not a dodgy one.
Yeah, like we both worked in the store long enough to know that some of the ornaments that come through hella dodge with paints. So
you got to make sure it's like those little princess figurines that you can get in DLP. Like you have to look and make sure you get one with a good face.
Absolutely. So oh, sorry, go on.
It's going to be y'all's first Christmas in your new house, so you got to get some. And they always have the little year on them, so I mean you have to get some.
Oh, you know what? You've just sold it. So obviously I'm going to get the Rapunzel one because I buy every single Rapunzel decoration they ever make. And
it's cute.
It's really cute. It's very nice.
That Moana one though?
Yeah, I feel like the last Moana one was very similar, but I think this one's better.
I think I got last year's Moana one, and I think it was just her with her arms. She didn't have the headdress on. She certainly didn't have the swirl. It was just those like standard like hanging princess ones. Then
there's the Tiana one.
I want the Tiana one. The Tiana one's so pretty.
I have a question. So in Princess and the Frog, is the restaurant she wants to open not called Tiana's Place, not Tiana's Palace?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Because this ornament says Tiana's Palace. And I know that in the movie, there's that thing where, like, the first bit of the movie says Tiana's Place, and the second bit says Tiana's Palace. But I'm like...
Maybe it's because she becomes a princess in the end.
Yeah, so is that like what it means? Because, like, she has her royal gloves on. So I assume that's... But I'm like, you're really, like, not dehumanizing her. That's not the word I'm looking for. But, like, the whole thing of her movie is that she wants to open a restaurant, not that she wants to find a prince. And now you've made an ornament of her being like, Tiana's Palace, because she's a princess. And it's like, no, man, she wants to be a female business owner and run her own restaurant called Tiana's Place. And you ruined it. Anywho.
Yeah. Can I just say, the Belle one is real shit.
Yeah, it's a bit crap, isn't it?
I feel like all of the princess ones are really cool. Like, I love the Merida one with the Will-o'-the-Wisps. Absolutely want that.
Yeah.
The Mulan one with her dressed as Ping is amazing. I feel like all the princess ones are really cool and really detailed. And then Belle is just real shit.
Like, that little thing, the arch they've got, like, it's not even special. It's not even something you've ever even seen in the movie before. It's crap.
Bizarre.
There's also loads of princesses missing, so I assume Wave 2 and probably Wave 3 are going to have them as well. I'm also highly enjoying the Wally and Eve one because they have had the same Wally and Eve decoration for about 5 years now. And it's been them with the little fire extinguisher, which is a cute ornament, but I'm so glad they've got one with Wally holding a little Christmas tree, little Santa hat on. Isn't that so cute? I love
I'm
it.
so obsessed with this. So me and Bref have our own Christmas tree in my house, and last year we bought some of the Shop Disney ornaments. So we each picked out one, and then I think it was when they were doing the 3 for 2. So we each picked a personal one that we wanted. I picked the gargoyle thing from Haunted Mansion because obviously, I think what did Breffney pick? I think Breff picked Baymax, who also has the string of lights. So
Oh
Wally and
yeah,
Evil kind of match Baymax,
cute.
which I'm happy about. And then I think we got the Donald and Daisy sitting in Dumbo because that was just real cute. But I thoroughly enjoy the absolute absurdity of this with Wally with the little hat on and everything. It's just too cute.
Yeah, I'm like, what are we in July? So it's actually slightly early for a first wave of sketchbook ornaments. You usually don't
Yeah.
get them till August, but I mean they've nothing to lose releasing them early, do they? Like
No.
they're no longer running any of the Minnie Mouse main attraction releases or any limited edition releases inside the store. So they've already knocked down their own foot traffic for those kind of
Yeah.
things. Because I know for a fact that a lot of people would come in for those kind of releases and then also get ornaments because why the hell wouldn't you? So yeah. And also, FYI, for anyone who wants sketchbook ornaments from the Disney store, everyone knows they go on offer at some stage, but if there's one you really, really like, just buy it because it will sell out before September. Just putting that out there.
Yeah. Can I also call it the fact that they finally changed the Mary Poppins one?
Yeah, what was the Mary Poppins one before? Just her with her umbrella.
Her with her umbrella in the bag, yeah. Which was always sold really well. But this year it's actually Mary and Bert, and it's a little step in time one, and it's
and
super
she's in a different outfit as well. She's in a little red number.
Yeah,
I do like that
very
one as well.
sweet. Big fan.
See, my only worry now is these are all really hefty. Are they all going to be €22? Yes, they are.
Probably, yeah.
Because, like, I remember when I started working in the store, a regular princess ornament was like €14 or something. And then
13, I think.
every year they added an extra euro. And then they started making these big hecka chunky ones, and they were like, €24, please. And I'm like, sure, here's my money.
But the thing with the big chunky ornaments, and don't get me wrong, I have feckin' loads of them, but I leave them out year round because none of mine, with the exception of a few of mine that are Christmassy, most of mine are not Christmassy, they're just ornaments. So I leave them out as just little statues. But a lot of them, like, I would be a real Christmas tree kind of gal, like hardcore. However, the tree that me and Bref use in the front room is a fake tree. But like, you can't put those big hefty ornaments on a real tree because they're just gonna fall and die. So just to bear that in mind.
Yeah, when we put them, so we get a real tree, and when we put them on, we have to specifically pick the really chunky branches and sometimes clump a couple of branches together and then shove it all the way down the branch so it's got as much support as it can.
Yeah.
Like it works. It's not ideal, but it works. But just FYI, they are very, very heavy.
But if you want to do what I do and just keep them out year round, they are just very cute, just little ornaments, and you can just clip off the little string thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They really do work.
Yeah.
Yeah, Finn, that's it for the Disney merch update.
Oh, is that all the news?
I think it is, yeah. Yeah, we're done.
Exciting times. So we'll level with you lads. We hadn't a feckin' breeze what to record this week.
No, because we finished our series and then I was like, oh, we're done that now.
Yeah, so we didn't know what to do. We're hopefully going to have a guest on next week. But what we figured we would probably do is we've been shouting on about the fact that Frozen 2 and Hamilton were coming to Disney Plus. And it was, as Kate has now dubbed it, Jonathan Groff Day on Friday.
Yes, Groff Day.
We figured we'd have a chat about Hamilton. We've both watched it several times. We'd have a chat about Frozen 2, although I actually haven't rewatched Frozen 2. However, we have both watched the little docu-series that they created called Into the Unknown, The Making of Frozen 2. So we thought we'd have a chat about those and then maybe just some general recommendations of what we've enjoyed on Disney Plus of late.
Yes, indeed. So let's start where it all happened with Hamilton. What an absolute delight.
Oh, it's so good.
Like, I just don't know how to comprehend how fantastic the entire show is. Like,
it's weird talking about it because I'm not marveling Disney. This was no work to do with Disney. It wasn't shot with Disney. Thomas, what's his name? Thomas Klein. Oh no, Thomas Cale. I was close. So Cale, who directed the show and also directed the recording, nothing to do with Disney. It was all done before Disney even owned it.
Yeah.
But like, it's fantastic. The show's fantastic. The music's fantastic. The actors are amazing. The characters are fantastic. The staging is amazing. The moving stage is like phenomenal. They only use like 10 props throughout the entire film. Like, they use the ensemble in order to like move the scenes because the stage doesn't move. Like, it's just, everything about it is fantastic.
Yeah, it's just because I have obviously heard everybody talk about Hamilton and all the kind of hype around that. I'm one of these people that, like, I love musical theaters. Like, if I enjoy a musical theater show, like, I hardcore love a musical theater show. However, I struggle sometimes listening to just the soundtrack of things without actually seeing it.
Yeah.
I will hold my hands up. I am not above watching a bootleg on YouTube. I did it with Heathers. I've done it with Mean Girls. I'm not above it. However, I could never find a decent Hamilton one. And
for reasons,
yeah. So I kind of struggled to connect with it. I tried listening to it. I've done the same with the Beetlejuice musical. Again, massive Beetlejuice fan. And I've zero doubt that I would absolutely adore the musical. But I can't make that connection without kind of visually seeing it. So I've kind of been like, okay, I'm not vibing with Hamilton. I'll put it in a box. I'll see it at some stage. And we'll all be G. So me and Bref watched it on Saturday. And it's just absolutely amazing. Like, the sheer talent and ingenuity that's involved in that show, like, everything about it is just, it's so simple in a lot of ways. Like, there's not 10 million costume changes. There's quite a lot of ensemble cast, but the main characters, most of them double up. So there's not like this massive like realm of main characters where you've 10,000 different faces to remember you're that person, you're this person, and all that kind of stuff. And like, as you said, the stage itself is pretty bare. It's pretty barren. There's kind of an upper level to it that they use occasionally. And there's the moving turntable, which again, they use sparingly, but when they do use it, because it's sparing, it's so effective.
Yeah.
And it just completely blew away all of my expectations, to the point that we watched it on Saturday, and then Sunday I was like, I feel like I need to watch this again. And I did. And it was just as good the second time around. It was actually probably better the second time around, because I wasn't just like, because it's kind of like the start of Hamilton is kind of like when you get launched in Hyperspace Mountain. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take at first, and there's so many different things, and you're like, oh my god. But then when you watch it the second time, you're like, okay, yeah, I know where I'm at with this. I get this now. I can pay attention to the little details and nuances. I like it.
Yeah, and one of the most special things about why the original Broadway cast is so good is the majority of the cast were there for when it was off Broadway and when it moved to Broadway. So obviously Lin-Manuel Miranda, Christopher Jackson, who plays George Washington, and then Daveed Diggs, who is just phenomenal, who plays Lafayette and Thomas Jefferson. They were with the cast from the workshop up until the Broadway debut.
Yeah.
Then every other cast member, apart from Jonathan Groff, was with them from off Broadway to Broadway. Like, the cast is so entwined with each other. They all feel the vibe. Like, it's so good. Like, there's so many hidden meanings behind things. There's so many choreographed bits of it that, like, you could watch it like 5 to 6 times and still not catch everything. It's just so cleverly done. And like, obviously Lin-Manuel Miranda did a fantastic job writing the songs and all that sort of stuff, but the choreography and the direction and the production value, the lighting, like the echoing effects, the techno changes with some of the cast's voices, everything about it is just so amazing. And to be fair, it does tell a really good story. Like, yes, it's American propaganda, and yes, a lot of these men were racist slave owners, but you know, you just gotta vibe with it. Like, you can enjoy Hamilton but disagree with every single founding father.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I think Lynn would be the first person to hold his hands up and say that.
Oh, absolutely. But then there's also just some stuff in the musical as well, like that Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote into the musical from reading Alexander Hamilton's letters. Like there's stuff like there's the bit to do with Angelica Schuyler where she says about the letter, she's like, you put a comma after dearest instead of Angelica. Like, did you mean something by that? Like, Lin-Manuel Miranda only put that in the musical because when he was reading the letters, he noticed in one of them, Hamilton put the comma after dearest instead of Angelica, which completely changed the meaning of what he was writing. And like, that's something so small, but it's so important in telling the story. And like, really, it's all about Eliza. Like... Eliza's the main bae in this story. Like, bless her heart.
What a woman. What a woman.
Philippa Sue does a fantastic job. Yeah. She is phenomenal. They're all phenomenal, but like Philippa Sue is amazing. Like, to be honest, the worst actor in Hamilton is Lin-Manuel Miranda. He's not a great actor.
He's just Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And like Hamilton also isn't a very difficult part to play. He sort of just flows with the story because it's his story. Whereas everyone else has to be like, I'm this, and I fight for this, and I believe in this. And he's just kind of like, yeah, I'm Hamilton.
Yeah. I was listening to, so we've mentioned before our favourite true crime podcast called True Crime Obsessed. And Gillian, one of the hosts from that, actually does a Hamilton podcast called The Hamilcast, which I hadn't listened to because I hadn't been in the Hamilton sphere, shall we call it. But I started listening to, so she has some interviews with Lynn from a good few years ago, and where he basically kind of said, he was like, I always wanted to be in musical theatre. He was like, there was nothing I wanted more than to be in musical theatre, but there are no parts for people like me. He was like, I can't really dance. I can't really sing. And he was like, there were no parts for me. I had no chance of getting into a musical of any of the traditional ones. So he was like, so I wrote a musical that I could be in. He was like, I wrote my new favorite musical. I wrote one that'd be perfect for people like me that might not be the best singers, but that want to be in musical theatre. He was like, so I just did it myself. And I was like, fair dues, Lynn. Good man. Yeah, no, it's so good. And for anyone who's like confused by it, one, if you're watching for the first time, I highly suggest putting the subtitles on. Also, learned with Disney Plus. Disney Plus have so many options in which to change the way your closed captions come up. So like you can change how big it is, you can change what font it uses, you can change the background color of your there you go, of the closed captions. Because I just watched it for the third time and I put the closed captions up. So I've listened to the soundtrack before I got to watch it on Disney Plus, but just there today I watched it with the closed captions, and the option it gave me was like the faded gray background. And because you're watching on a stage, a lot of the bottom of the stage is dark, and I was actually having trouble reading them, and I was like, oh, this is annoying. So I changed it to blue, and so nothing in Hamilton is blue. So I was like, wow, this is great. And like here, massive props to Disney Plus for having such like what's the word I'm looking for? Accessible, or being so accessible. No, do you know when you can change things to whatever you like? Variations? Yes. Customization? Customization. That's the word I was looking for. Thanks. I feel like I'm just your thesaurus. I feel like that is my role on this podcast. Massive props to Disney Plus for having such customization on your closed captioning. I thought it was very good. So yeah, I have a couple of Hamil film facts if you'd like to hear them. Go for it. You know I love a fun fact. So in the US, app downloads for Disney Plus went up by 74% over July 4th weekend. Yep. Holy shit. Oh, now I wonder how much of that was Hamilton and how much of that was Frozen. To be honest. Oh no, but they already had Frozen. Never mind. Yeah. So it was just Hamilton. I was thinking the same thing, yeah, because I was like, so I don't have any stats for Europe because, you know, who gives a fuck about the EU. But for the US, it was up by 74%. Then I know you said yourself that if you avail, so you can no longer get a free trial for Disney Plus. It's not a thing anymore ever since Hamilton came out. And if you got a free trial on July 3rd, you don't have access to watch Hamilton. You have to be on a paid subscription account, which you got to pay for that. I'm like, fine, just do it. Like, it's $7.99 a month. Pay for 1 month if you really don't want anything else on Hamilton. A ticket to Hamilton cost over $200.
Minimum.
Plus, in fairness, Hamilton cost Disney $75 million.
Yeah, they got to make their money back, like.
So I ain't surprised.
Then there's also just one little thing which I noticed, but I wasn't sure if I'd noted, like if I'd made it up in my head. But at the very beginning, when there's the Disney castle and there's the fireworks above the castle, so the fireworks hit the beat of the music, which they don't usually in Disney films, and that was specifically Cale's idea, which I'm just like, oh, director from start to finish, what a guy.
Yeah. I was listening to, so again, to reference Hamilcast podcast, so Lynn has done new episodes with Gillian all about the Hamilton movie and all that kind of stuff, and they said to him, they were like, what do you want to do with the castle entrance? And he was like, what do you mean? And they were like, you can put the movie over the castle. Do you want to just pick a song or whatever? And he was like, I get to put my music over the castle. Because obviously, like, he wouldn't have had that same, I suppose, kind of level of control to do with Moana, because all he did was write the music for Moana, so it wouldn't have been quite the same thing. So he was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, but it really, like, for people who were hardcore Hamilton fans, I know they went crazy because they initially knew the music, and it's so seamless, the way it goes boom, 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 boom. It's so good. It just really sets you in. But then also, Lin-Manuel Miranda has written another musical called In the Heights. And in that musical, there's a specific lyric in one of the songs that says, we love the fireworks, look at the fireworks. And so when Lin-Manuel Miranda tweeted about the fireworks, everybody just added him and went, we love the fireworks, look at the fireworks.
Cute.
So it was a very wholesome musical moment, I believe. So yeah, that was what I had. It basically app downloads went through the roof, just crazy. I also have to give it up to Disney Plus for not absolutely shitting the bed when this all went live. So Hamilton went live at 3 a.m. in the US, and it was seamless. Everything was fine. People could just watch it.
Good job. Well done.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm curious, what's your favorite song or songs?
I have so many favorite songs. I love the Schuyler Sisters. I love Wait for It. I love Wait for It with so Aaron Burr's song. The 10 Dual Commandments I really like because it really hits very good. And what I've seen people say on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter is that the 10 Dual Commandments and the House of Holbein, which is a song from Six, they are literally parallels of each other within a song. And I'm like, wow, yeah, that's so true. So if any of you have ever listened to Six and House of Holbein and then the 10 Dual Commandments, make that opinion for yourself. But yeah, the one thing I have to say about Hamilton, which I think stands to it really well, is that what I hate in musicals are ballads, because I initially switch off. I'm like, I'm now bored. I don't care anymore. Like, I like musicals because they're interesting, there's a lot going on, and when you stick a ballad in the middle of a musical, that's one person singing by themselves with nothing else happening, and I'm initially bored, and I don't care anymore. And I'm like, when's the next choreographed number? But with Hamilton, that never happens.
No.
Like, yes, there are singular songs, and yes, there are somewhat ballady type songs, but there's always stuff happening, and the lyrics behind the songs are also so important to the musical that I never switched off, and I was always interested. So if a musical can do that, then I don't see why everybody shouldn't have accessibility to be able to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What about you? What songs do you like?
I'm a little bit obsessed with Satisfied, and that kind of like Satisfied, Hopeless remix.
Yeah.
So beautiful. So obsessed with Angelica's voice. I also just love all of the Thomas Jefferson songs. So like, What Did I Miss is cracking.
What Did I Miss is so good. It's like, hey, I was in France literally smoking weed with a bunch of ladies. I came back to this new, like, founded America, and you want me to be Secretary of State? Yeah, sure, let's roll.
I love that whole sequence. And then I also love Room Where It Happened. I just think that's great.
Oh yeah, Room Where It Happened is very good as well.
So
also good. There's the song, I actually don't know what song's called. It's when Aaron Burr is talking to Hamilton and he's like, why do you write like you're running out of time? Do you know what? That could be the name of the song. I'm actually not really sure. But like, the way the moving stage is used in that particular thing, it just every choreograph hits every single beat in the song, and it's just so amazing. And like you said, the show's so simple but so technically advanced that the fact that they've made it look so simple is just outrageous.
Like, there's not a lot of big set pieces, there's not a lot of big costume change, there's not a lot of big things, but there's a lot of little things. There are so many tiny nuances that you don't just get distracted by, oh, here's this big giant thing that's just come in, or oh, that person's now wearing this big massive costume. Do you know what I mean? There's none of that.
No.
It's simple, but it's heavily nuanced.
And like the costume changes are so subtle, and the meaning behind Bullet Girl is so subtle, and the only piece of the stage that fully moves is at the end of Act 1, and it's just, there's only like 10 props, and it's just, everything's just great. Also, so Jonathan Groff is just in a league of his own.
When he's just like drooling while he's singing.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen any of the TikToks, but it's like me going to see Hamilton with Jonathan Groff as George III, and the front row, and it's like POV of this, and it's like someone coming in and they've got this massive raincoat on, and they sit down, they put their hood up, and then they get their umbrella out and they put their umbrella up, and they're like ready to go.
Oh, so good.
But yeah, oh sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, I have a feeling I know what you're going to say, but marks out of 5?
Oh, 5. Absolutely. Like, you can't fault the movie. Like, I understand that people might find it a bit difficult to understand the rapping. Like, there's a lot of Thomas Jefferson raps so quickly that there's no way you're going to understand what he's saying unless you're watching the subtitles. Same
with Hercules Mulligan at the start of it. Like, he's real difficult to understand at the start.
Yeah, and there's actually some bits where I thought they were saying different things until I put the subtitles on. And I was like, so what lyric I had made sense, but the lyric they had, I was like, that makes way more sense.
That just reminds me of, I remember when Carrie Hope Fletcher was still doing Veronica Sawyer and Heathers, and people would send her what they thought the lyrics were.
Oh, and yeah, she thought that was very funny as well.
Somebody thought that lyric in Dead Girl Walking, where she was like, spend the night getting freaky, someone thought it was spend the night getting free cake. It was my favourite thing. I love misinterpreted lyrics. It's my fave.
So yeah, absolutely fantastic. It's race blind casting. The villain is white and one of the only white actors in the entire thing. It's just fantastic. The villain's also one of the main sources of comic relief, which is really interesting too. It's just spot on. If you haven't watched it, you should watch it.
Best 2 hours and 40 minutes of your life.
Oh, 100%. And then when you watch it another time, I just think it gets better with age.
I agree.
So yeah, that's Hamilton.
Do we need to talk about Frozen 2? I mean, we spoke about Frozen 2 when it came out. Is there anything you want to add about Frozen 2 specifically?
No, not really. Just that it was still really good.
Cool. So Disney decided to create a mini docu-series called Into the Unknown, The Making of Frozen 2. And you mainly follow the two directors, Jen and Chris. I feel like we're best pals now after watching it.
Hey, it's weird, right?
Honestly, like Jen is just like ultimate like role model goals. Like she just seems fab. I'm sure she's probably not all sunshine and rainbows all the time and hashtag Disney propaganda. Although, can we please call out the fact that at no stage did we have good old Bobber Diger poking his head in. Not once did we see him in this entire fucking series.
No.
I was very shocked.
But yeah, she definitely gives off the vibes of like, there was sometimes that I'm like, she kind of scared me. Not in a like bad way, but in like, she knows what she wants and that's what she's going to get kind of thing.
Is it like how I used to scare you?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. But like, I just really admire, just before we go into it, because we're going to go into it, but I just really admire how the animators are able to go in for dailies and show their work, and the directors turn around and be like, this isn't really what I wanted, could we try for this maybe? And the animators just turn around and they're like, yeah, absolutely, no problems, I'll go back and change it. Or like, yeah, that's a really good point, I'll go do that. I'm just like, I could never.
Yeah. I just So is it 5 or 6 episodes? 6 episodes?
I think 6 episodes.
Yeah. So it's 6 episodes and it starts from a year out. And it goes through everything, every stage.
Yeah.
And like, don't get me wrong, like I obviously am a massive fan of animation. Absolutely love it. I love everything about Disney movies. And like, obviously, you know that it's very technologically advanced. It's very highly skilled work to be able to create a Disney movie. But fucking hell, animation is just like mind blowing.
It's so crazy. Like, again, obviously, we as very basic Disney fans, in the terms of like, we understand that there's definitely more than one layer of animation to a movie, but I didn't know there was that many layers of animation to a movie.
Honestly.
Like, you basically start with your storyboard, and then it's basically from the point of like hand drawing a character to the end product, it goes through like 7 different departments just for the animation, not even for the sound, just the animation.
But it's even the fact of like, I assumed that like the voice actors went in and did like, say 1 week they go and they record all the songs, and then 1 week they go and they record all the like the actual like talking bits. I just assumed that was all like one and done, you do it all the one time. No. And again, that's just me being naive. Like, I fully didn't realize how often people had to kind of poke in so they could change things. Like, it's mind blowing.
Mm-hmm. I just, like, I don't know how much we want to talk about in terms of like giving away stuff, but because I do think everyone should go watch it and everyone should fully understand how much work went into that movie, because it's insane. But like, it's so interesting. Like, they had their first screening not to staff, like only like 6 or 8 months before they were supposed to release the movie, and they changed literally 25% of the movie because it didn't hit right. And one of my favorite scenes in the movie wasn't even in that one. They had to redo it and come up with this scene for the end movie, and I was like, I can't imagine Frozen 2 without having that scene, because it just hits so well.
And it's just like, and then you kind of see the like director and the producers kind of side of it, but then you get like this little moment from this female animator, and she's like, so I came in and I had a post-it note on my desk, and all of these things that I've been working on for like the past 3-4 months they're just gone. They're just not in the movie now, so I've been given something else to start working on now. And I'm like, that must be so soul destroying. Like, you would obviously get used to it. Like, I imagine shit like that happens all the time in animation. But like, can you imagine just being like, I've spent months creating this, and now in a split second it's just gone?
I think the one thing that really helps you remember, and to be honest, I do think the directors and the producers and stuff are very supportive. Like, I know it comes across like that in the show, because obviously it's being filmed by Disney, for Disney, by Disney. But I do still get that vibe of like, the directors and the producers are really there for their staff. And like, if stuff happens, they will genuinely happily help you. And I think it's really a case of, if you come in and your scenes have been cut, that like, they haven't been cut because what you did was bad. They've been cut because that part of the story didn't work in the movie. And like, that's got nothing to do with how well you animated those scenes, kind of thing.
I think it's so interesting how, because like, again, and this is all just stupidity on my part. Naivety is probably
not stupidity,
saying it for myself.
But like, I
just wasn't aware.
But
it's interesting. So like, obviously, so in Frozen 2 in particular, the director Jen wrote the story side of things, but it's so interesting seeing. So like, they show this scene where Olaf becomes, I was going to call him Papa Smurf. It's not at all. He is, but like the elder gnome. No,
he's called Poppy.
Poppy. When he becomes Poppy, and you see that being animated, and he's presenting that to Jen and Chris, and they've never seen it before. So it's kind of like, she just writes the story, and then it's up to these individual animators, and there's like 70 of them, to look at that story and then create that in their head. And it's just when he's showing her, she's like, how on earth did you even come up with that? And like, they were breaking down the various elements of Olaf that became Poppy, and it's just it's nice seeing that whilst there are so many people working on it, each of them have their individual influence that they get to directly have on it, because whilst the director will write the story, they kind of then have to each individually interpret that and then create the visuals off the back of it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, we understand how much work goes into an animated film, but like by watching this, you really understand how much work goes into making an animated film. And it actually got to the point of, I was really annoyed at the end of the movie. So at the end of the movie, they show Idina Menzel, Kristen Bell, Jonathan Groff, and Josh Gad doing all like the press junkies and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, they did fucking nothing. I'm like, why did they get to go out and tell the world about this movie? I'm like, all they did was loan their voices to these amazing characters. I'm like, how dare the fact that they are allowed and go out to talk about this movie that they really had nothing to do with. Like,
I know.
That's exactly how every single movie works. And I'm pretty sure that none of the animators would want to go do that, because that's not the kind of people they are. But I was like, I wish they'd do these kind of docu-series for like every animated movie, because I want to know about all the people. I want about the people who came up with the Atahala scene, and I want to know the people that figured out that this was the best way to portray this story. And I want to know all those people, because they're the bits of the movie that I loved. Like, yes, the actors loan their voices, which make the characters come alive, because without voices they'd be nothing. But I'm like, all of these other bits have nothing to do with them.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Wow.
It's the type, like, that's the type of content that I will forever continue to have my Disney Plus subscription for. Because don't get me wrong, I like having access to the movies. I like having access to the likes of The Mandalorian and stuff like that. But it's the behind the scenes stuff that I find so intriguing. So I'm just like, just keep doing this. Like, and I get that they're not going to do it for every movie, because Lord knows no one needs to watch The Making of Artemis as well. But if they could do it, if they could do it for those big, like, animated movies, the big Pixar movies, the big Marvel movies, stuff like that, like, I want to understand the background of it, because it's so fascinating.
Yeah, and like, they show you so much. And like, there's a couple of bits where the producers are like, no cameras today, like, we've got shit to do, like, fuck off kind of thing. But they really show you so much. And I also, one thing interesting, when they showed a scene of Frozen 2 in D23, I remember when that happened, that you couldn't find any footage of the song they'd shown or the 4 lead cast singing Some Things Never Change, and you couldn't find it anywhere, obviously for major reasons. But in this documentary, they show you not the whole song, but they show you like clips of the 4 leads singing that song to the audience. And like, that's all I wanted to see. Like, I just wanted to see how much they loved singing the song for the people, and it was just great. It was really nice. So I'm really glad that they had like a good recording of that they could actually show people, because obviously now they can show people everything. But like, it's just, I was glad that got put in.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know, if they could just keep making little docu-series about this for everything, like, and I do literally mean everything. If they're creating a new parade, show us what that all looks like. If you're building a new ride, show us what that looks like. If you're creating new fireworks for the Disneyland Paris 30th anniversary, show us how you do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I find the background side of things so much more interesting. Not more interesting, but you know what I mean?
Well,
like, you watch
the movies are good.
Lovely. But like, you watch, like, you go in, you watch Frozen, it's however long Frozen is, and it's lovely and it's great and fantastic. And then you have this 6-part documentary that shows you the blood, sweat and tears that goes into it, and every tiny little aspect that creates that movie that you then just sit and watch for an hour or an hour and a half or however long it is. And like, y'all know I am not the biggest Frozen fan in the entire world, and this is how hyped I am about it. So if you are a big Frozen fan, you absolutely have to go watch it.
Yeah, and like, even if you're not, like, even taking out the fact that it's Frozen, like, just how interesting it is, like, alone, regardless of the fact that it's Frozen, you should still go watch it.
Yeah, and like, there's so many details of it. Even like the little lighting thing where they hand the guy, oh, here's the scene where they like create Elsa's new dress, and it's like all like chunky and all this kind of stuff, and he's like, oh yeah, I just do this and this and this, and I wow the audience. And I'm like, damn, yes you do.
Yeah.
Yes you do, pal. Oh, so good. I would also give that 5 out of 5, to be honest, because I just thought it was cracking. I loved it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like it ended, and I was like, no, show me more.
Yeah. just keep showing me things.
Yeah, it was absolutely great.
Is there anything else that you wanted to call out? We got much longer out of that than I was anticipating.
Yeah, no, I think we can actually just leave it there. I don't think I need to add anything else. I think we're G. I think we're fine.
We've been on Zoom for nearly 2 hours now, so
yeah, I think we're G.
But if there's anything else that you guys have unearthed on Disney Plus, do let us know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And if you do watch Hamilton or Into the Unknown: The Making of Frozen 2, please let us know what you think.
Preferably both.
Yeah, oh yeah, do both.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts. And yeah, as I said, we should hopefully have a special guest with us next week, so keep an eye on social media and we shall hopefully pop up some information about that. So as you guys know, we have been doing our lockdown quizzes. We were doing them every second week, but now that life is slowly but surely going back to normal, we're going to try and move them to a monthly basis, so the last Friday of every month. So if you want to get involved in that, please do let us know. If it's taking place on the last Friday of the month, that will be
the 31st of July.
So it's literally the last day of the month.
Mm-hmm.
So 31st of July, give us a shout if you're free and you would like to join. And yeah, I think that's everything for this week.
Yeah, thanks so much for listening, guys. If you want us up on Instagram, it's at MickeyWafflesPod. If you want to hit us up on Twitter, I mean, don't, because we're not on there, but it's at MickeyWafflePod. Instagram's really where it's at. So yeah, if you want to hit us up, just add us.
Absolutely. Feel free to share the podcast with your pals, with your granny, with your dog, especially your dog. And don't forget to leave us a review if you're listening on Apple Podcast, or as Kate likes to say, rob someone's phone and leave it on theirs.
Yeah, you know it. So yeah, thanks so much for listening, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
This podcast is part of the After Dark Podcast Network.